Uncover the wisdom of the feminine through soulful conversations on spirituality, healing, relationships, self-leadership, sovereignty, and so much more. I'm your host, Tamar, Gail, feminine embodiment facilitator, feminine arts mentor, and soul tantrika. In this podcast, my goal is to take you deeper into the world of the feminine, stepping more into your feminine pleasure, power, authentic truth, and your sovereignty. Welcome to the Feminine Codes podcast. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. I'm your host, Tamar, and today we're diving into the topic that might just shift the way you see yourself, your voice, and your power forever. This episode is for women who know deep down that they're born for more. For the ones who have always felt just a little bit different, maybe a little bit defiant, or maybe just quietly questioning the world around them. If you've ever been called rebellious or difficult for speaking up, speaking your truth, questioning authority, or for refusing to follow the crowd, then this episode is for you. Because what if I told you that spirit, that rebellious streak, isn't something to be ashamed of, but it's actually a very profound gift. And when you couple that, when you combine that with discernment and intuition and a commitment to awakening, it becomes the backbone of your sovereignty and your autonomy in a world that so often encourages us to look outside of ourselves for answers. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's unpack the power of your rebellious spirit. So let's start by talking about rebellion. When you hear the word rebellion, what comes to your mind? Maybe you picture yourself as a teenager or someone else that you knew slamming a door or causing problems, breaking the rules just for the sake of it. But I really want to reframe this idea of the rebellious spirit for you. Rebellion at its core isn't about destruction or chaos. It's about questioning. It's about looking at the systems and the rules and the expectations around us and asking, does this align with my truth? For many of us, that questioning spirit shows up really early in life. Maybe we're born with it. Maybe we're the kid who always asks why. Why do I have to do this? Why is that the rule? Maybe you challenged authority, not because you wanted to cause trouble, but because something in you sensed that things weren't right. And yet society doesn't always celebrate that kind of questioning nature, especially when we're women. From a very young age, a lot of us women were taught to follow the rules, to be agreeable, to be nice, to sit and look pretty, to not ask too many questions, to not rock the boat. And if you resisted, you might have been labeled as difficult or as too much. But here's the thing. That rebellious spirit that you had, that you have, hopefully you still have it, it was a gift. It's a sign that you're awake, that you're tuned in to something deeper. And when you combine that with the gift of discernment, with intuition, it becomes a powerful tool for living life authentically and in your sovereignty. So when I was young, I was labeled as rebellious. I was very rebellious, actually. My nickname was Trouble, if you really want to know. And I actually took pride in having my nickname be Trouble because I didn't, I gave a lot of people problems. I did. I was quite, I could be reckless when I was young. I wasn't mature, not mature like I am today, and I hadn't done the work yet. So I was quite rebellious. I was reckless. I questioned authority all the time. If I didn't like it, I said it. I didn't go with the crowd. I did my own thing, especially in high school. And I didn't want to run around with the in crowd because I didn't agree with everything. And I had issues with school because I didn't like how they taught. It wasn't for me. I didn't like the system. And so I questioned a lot, and I had a lot of teachers that didn't like me. There was actually quite a few rumors that went around about me that weren't true. And I had to be okay with it because I chose to not follow suit. I chose to be different, to stand my ground, and to question the things that I didn't believe in or agree with. And I was very outspoken. I'm very grateful for the rebellious spirit that I have and that I have always had. I see the gift in it. Did I cause problems? Yes, I did. And so I can look at that and really have compassion for myself as a younger person, as a younger girl. But I can also see the gift in my connection to the questioning, my gift and the gift in trusting myself and for standing up for what I believed in. And so I just want to kind of give you a background into my own experience with having a rebellious spirit so that you can kind of get a feel for why I bring this topic up and where I'm coming from, and a little bit more of an understanding on where I'm going with this and what I'm about to share. So now let's talk about how rebellion evolves when you pair it with the gift of discernment and intuition. And these are sometimes things that we have to develop as we grow, as we mature. But I think that we are born with the spirit more than we learn to adopt it. That makes sense. So learning the gift of discernment is so important in so many aspects for man, woman, child. But when we use discernment to help sift through the noise and determine what's true for us and combine that with intuition, it becomes almost like a superpower. It's what keeps us from rebellion, from turning into being reckless as we can be whenever we're still growing and maturing. It's about knowing when to question, when to walk away, and when to stand our ground and to be firm in our truth. So intuition, on the other hand, is that deep inner knowing that lives within every woman. Every one of us has it. Women, we typically have a stronger connection to our intuition because we have a connection to our womb. And when we grow that connection and grow a conversation with our womb, then our intuition and that inner voice gets stronger. And the intuition is a part of you that doesn't need proof or permission. It simply just knows. The problem is that many of us have been conditioned to ignore our intuition growing up. We've been taught to doubt ourselves and to prioritize logic over how we feel and what is the truth of our inner voice. And so many of us women are stuck in our heads, trying to make logical sense of what's going on around us instead of really tapping into our bodies and asking um, and and feeling that inner truth. And we look for then external validation over what we feel inside because we've lost trust in our own intuition and that feeling. But here's the simple truth. When your rebellious spirit is combined with this discernment and intuition, you become unstoppable. And you become unstoppable because you stop reacting to the world around you. And you start to respond to the world from this place of power and alignment that comes from within you. So here's a simple way to begin to build that reconnection with your intuition. Set aside like maybe 5 minutes a day. Find, that quiet place and just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, really centering yourself in your body. And I invite you to just place your hands over your womb. And if you're not familiar with where your womb is, it's right below your belly button. So if you were to take your thumbs and put your thumbs together, making a triangle with your hands, and your thumbs are placed at your belly button, the triangle's facing down, where your hands are, and in the middle of that triangle, that's where your womb is. So place your hands over your womb. And if you no longer have a womb, you still have that energetic, the imprint of your womb. So that never goes away. So regardless of your age, if you still have your period, if you've had a hysterectomy, you no longer have a womb, it doesn't matter. You still have this connection. And then ask yourself, what do I need to know right now? And just listen. Your intuition is going to probably be more like a whisper in the beginning, especially if you've not connected with that inner voice, your intuition in a very long time. If you've not actually taken the time to sit and listen and to connect, it may take a moment to begin hearing it. You might have to come back, be patient. You might have to come back and do this practice again and again to develop that connection again. It's not going to be shouting at you. It's probably going to be quiet until you really develop that connection. The more that you develop that connection, the louder it's going to be, the stronger it's going to be. So again, taking 5 minutes a day, taking a deep breath, going within, and just asking yourself, what do I need to know right now? Simple, right? Let's take this a little bit deeper. What does it mean to awaken to your sovereignty? So sovereignty is about self-governance. It's about standing in your truth and really learning to trust yourself to lead your own life, no matter what others think about you or what they say. Awakening to your sovereignty begins with reclaiming your voice, because your voice is a direct link, a bridge to, between your inner world and your outer world. So whenever we're gaining our connection to our intuition, whenever that voice starts to speak to us and we begin to listen, it's now activating your voice to bring that out into the world, into your world, into your outer world, into the world around you. And every time you speak your truth, whether it's setting a boundary, sharing your thoughts and your perspective on something, or just saying no to something that doesn't feel aligned to you. Every time you do this, you reclaim a piece of your power. So here's a question for you. Where in your life have you been silent? Maybe it's been at work or in a relationship, or maybe you've been silent with yourself. What would happen if you actually spoke up? Is there a fear that comes up around that? About speaking up and using your voice? What would happen if you actually spoke up? Living sovereign and autonomous also means being willing to walk your own path, even when it's lonely. And sometimes it can be whenever we're beginning to awaken and we're beginning to walk in alignment with our own truth and to begin to speak our truth and use our voice. To be honest, sometimes we can lose friends, but if we are losing friends and the people in our life, then those are the people that you actually don't want in your life. And believe me, the places that are left open will be filled up with those who do align with your truth. The world typically will reward us conforming to what's around us, conforming to its beliefs. But true freedom comes when you trust yourself enough to really choose what's right for you, even if it's not what everyone else is doing. So I want to leave you with this thought that the world actually needs your rebellious spirit. It needs you to reclaim this spirit, this wild spirit that questions, that stands in your truth, that also has discernment and is connected to intuition. Yes, the world needs women like you, women who refuse to follow the rules blindly without questioning. And when you reclaim your rebellious spirit, you create a ripple effect. And this is really important because we not only change our lives and stand up for ourselves, but we begin to have this ripple effect in the women around us, the people around us. And we begin to inspire the women around us to do the same, to stand in their power, to use their voice, to honor their truth. And we show our daughters, our friends, and even strangers what it looks like to live a life in authenticity and in our sovereignty. So this isn't just about you. It's about really creating a world where women's voices and truths are being honored. So as we wrap up today, I want to remind you that you were born with a rebellious spirit for a reason. It's not a flaw, it's your superpower. So trust it, nurture it, let it guide you back to yourself, your truth. Here's your challenge for the week. Reflect on one area of your life where you've ignored your inner voice and commit to listening to it just for a moment and see where this leads you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. And if this episode resonates with you, share it with a friend who also needs to hear it. And don't forget to connect with me on social media. You can follow me at Tamar Gail. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and stories in the comments. So until next time, remember, you were born to trust yourself, to lead yourself, and to rise.